Today we are going to be doing an RGB LED simulation. And an RGB stands for red, green, blue. In other words, we're gonna work with or play with, if you will, an LED that can change colors. So before we do anything, I want to take a look at what it looks like so that you guys can see. And it has 4 legs. Well, that's weird, right? Because we've got red, cathode, blue, green. Now, here's the deal, right? Remember, cathode and anode. We've talked about those things, right? One is positive, one is negative. So cathode is the negative leg, and these are all positive legs. So what does this mean? Well, whichever leg is connected, that's the color that you're going to see. Very, very simple. So I'm going to go ahead and start up with breadboard small. And here's my LED. I'll put it to the side for now. And I'm going to grab some batteries. You know, guys, the drill. It's the same type of batteries. And I like to have 3 of them. You can have 4 of them, but 2 is probably not enough. So I will rotate this. Here's my negative. Here's my positive. Plug them into here. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and route my power to the bottom. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? I'm going to go ahead and route my power to the bottom. And this is red because it's power. And I'm going to route my ground to the bottom as well. And it's black because black is ground. And let's go ahead and connect this up. So the very first thing you need to remember, this is a legit LED, which means that whatever you're connecting, right, whichever leg you're connecting, you have to have a resistor in front of it. If you don't have a resistor connected in series with your LED is gonna die a horrible death. Now, we don't care what type of death the LED dies, right? But once the LED dies, that means you're going to pay for the next one, right? So let's not kill any LEDs, shall we? So let's grab a resistor. I'm going to go ahead and connect one from power into this column. And then over here, I've got my LED like that. And I'm going to go ahead and connect this LED over here. And I'm going to make this color pink. And I'll explain to you why. So what is going on right now? I've got my positive and it's running through the top. It's connected to, the power is connected to my resistor. From my resistor, it's going into this column. From this column, it's going into the wire. But it's no longer like pure power, right? We've taken down the voltage a little bit. And it goes into this column where it's going to go into the LED. And cathode is the negative leg, so once I connect my negative leg, which is black, my LED should light up if I start the simulation, because I have just connected the whole thing. And my LED is red, but this is not very interesting, right? Because this is not really all that different from LED that has 2 legs. All we did was connect it the same way. It's just this one has 4 legs, but the other 2 legs, we're not really connecting them, and so on. Well, if you guys remember, your last simulation was all about slide switch. So what if I can get my LED to change colors? Now that would be something. Let's see if I can do that. And before I'm going to do that, I'm going to draw a little circuit diagram. So what I'm going to have is I'm going to have a power button, battery pack. Then I'm going to have an SPDT switch, right? So we're choosing between this side and this side. And on this side, I'm going to have the red LED. And on this side, I'm going to have the green LED. Didn't I have exactly the same circuit diagram last time? Yeah, and it's really funny because this is the same element, right? And I am drawing it as 2 different elements. Because the way we're connecting this LED, it's as if those are 2 different LEDs, really. The only thing they have in common is that they have a leg, right? They have their own leg. They have 3 legs. So we can also redraw this in a different way. I can redraw this like this. So I've got my little path. And over here, I've got my RGB LED like this. And you will see that I'm keeping one leg unconnected, right? That is my blue leg. And I'm not going to connect it for now. So this is RGB. All right, so let's see if I can actually do this, right? So the first thing I need to do is I need to grab my switch and start connecting this. So I've got my switch somewhere over here. It's going to be connected to my power in my common, just like we did last time. This is pure power right now, right? This is common. So this is going to be my terminal 1, which I want connected to my RGB LED. Well, before I connect it, right, I need to have some kind of resistor in front because I took it out. And you can see that I don't really have a lot of space for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this guy like this. And now I'm going to connect it up like that. So what's happening, right? I have power running through the top. It's going into the switch through this wire and this column because the common is connected to this column. And then it either goes to terminal 1 and terminal 2, which are not connected. Now, if you look on the bottom, right, I have ground going through the cathode. Then we have red leg, which is connected to this column, which is connected to this resistor, which is connected to this column, which is connected to nothing. So we actually need to connect this side up. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. And this is going to be red because this is power. And once again, when I start the simulation, my LED is red. Well, let's connect another leg, right? So we've got blue leg and this is a green leg. So I'm going to go ahead and connect a green leg, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing, except it's going to be like a mirror reflection of it. So now my green leg is connected to this resistor through this column, and I'm going to go ahead and connect this side. And I'm keeping the wires red over here because both of them have power. So when I start the simulation, this is red, but when I switch it, it's green. So the first task of the simulation that you will be doing by yourselves would be to add another switch and to make it switch between red, green, and blue. And you guys are going to do that on your own. But before we even do that, I want to talk to you about other colors. Because the beauty of RGB LED is that you can have more than one color, more than 3 colors. And let me show you how this is done. I'm going to pull this out, undo all of those wires. So what do you think is going to happen if I connect straight into the power, both red and green at the same time? That's an interesting question. Think about it. Well, you know what? I don't want to think about it. I'm just going to go ahead and test it out. My red is connected right now. My green is connected right now. If I start the simulation, I'm going to see some kind of color. Yo, it's yellow. Well, that's pretty neat. Well, what if instead of red, I will connect blue? Well, blue's right here. Instead of green, I mean. So now I have red connected and blue connected. Red and blue sounds purple. Yeah, it's totally violet, right? And so on. So what I want you to do, and you guys are doing this on your own because the best way to do this is figure this out on your own. Your first assignment is to have 2 SPDT switches, 2 slide switches, and toggle between red, green, and blue. But after you do that, I want you to set up a circuit where you're toggling between 2 colors that are not red, green, and blue. So maybe you're switching between yellow and violet. Maybe you're switching between turquoise and violet. Figure this out. Maybe you're switching between white and violet. It's actually really, really easy to figure this out, but you kind of need to play with your RGB LED a little bit. So there are actually 7 colors that it can have, right? We have red, green, and blue, and then we have yellow, turquoise, and purple. I have not shown you turquoise, but you can figure this out. Okay, and the last color is white. That's what you get when you connect all 3 legs at the same time. So what I want you guys to do is to do those two things. So let me recap this. So your first assignment is 2 SPDTs, those are slide switches, and you're toggling between 3 colors, red, green, and blue. That's your first task. But your second task is, and you know, those secondary colors, the ones that are not red, green, and blue, I don't want you to toggle between 3. If you can figure out how to toggle between 3 different colors for, and obviously you can have 2 slide switches for 3 different colors, right? I don't care. I don't really limit the number of slide switches you want to use on that one. As many as you need. If you want to use 3 or 4, that's fine as well. I don't care. Okay? So toggle between, and you need 2 secondary colors, right? So for example, you can have yellow, you can have purple, you can have turquoise. You get the idea, right? You can have white, okay? So any of those will do. So you're gonna have 2 screenshots, one for your LED when you're toggling between red, green, and blue, and the other one for when you're toggling between, say, yellow and purple. Put them both in one big Word file, label each one, and you're good. If you want extra credit, and I mean it, right? If you want extra credit, then by all means, toggle between 3 different secondary colors, and I will give you extra credit for that.